Okay, so we are live, and I've got another McFarlane DC Multiverse unboxing, and this is Nightwing. This is Batman Knightfall Nightwing. So, yeah, this is the costume that he was wearing in the early part of the 1990s. Nightwing's second costume. He had been previously wearing what I affectionately refer to as the disco Nightwing costume, the disco Elvis with the high collar, and that was the one that was designed by George Perez. I believe this one was designed by Tom Grummett, but I could be mistaken. Uh, and to me, this figure looks like he's based off the artwork of Graham Nolan, who was the artist of Detective Comics while the Knightfall storyline was going on. He started towards the end of the actual Knightfall proper version of it, and drew it all through Night Quest and into Night's End. So he was one of the main guys as far as Batman artists go. Forgive me, I'm poking around looking for my X-Acto knife because I know I had that X-Acto knife around here somewhere, and we're gonna need to open them up. So let's see, just poking around. You would think that I would just, make sure I had it before I started shooting, but apparently not. Where is it? At least you get to see my shirt that I got. I got this one at Five Below. They actually had some shirts in my size when I went in last time, so that was miraculous. I just had it yesterday because remember I was using it to open up the Superman figures. Where else could it be? I don't remember doing anything else with it after that. Did it maybe fall on the floor somewhere? I don't know where my X-Acto knife is. That's not good. It's never good to not know where your X-Acto knife is, because then you might, sit on it or something, like step on it, something bad. Well, hang on a second. I'm going to just kind of peek around this room a little bit. It should be somewhere. Maybe I see a different perspective. Here it is. I found it. It was on the other side of my computer. All right, so let's go ahead and open them up. Since we have the X-Acto knife now, go ahead and cut through the tape here. And then we'll have a little cursory glance of the packaging. I never get too into the detail of looking at these McFarlane packages, because once you've seen one, you've seen them all pretty much. So, I just kind of go over it a little bit like that. But I do want to point out that the piece of artwork on the back is by Brian Stelfreeze, one of the greatest comic book artists. I really like his artwork. So there you go. Let's go ahead and open them up. Now, like the previous McFarlane Nightwing figure that I opened, this one does not come with any of his nightsticks. That's why I'm insisting on calling them. It doesn't come with his nightsticks, but it does look like it has some gripping hands. So if you wanted to put some nightsticks in his hands, you could. But technically, this version of Nightwing did not use those weapons yet. He didn't switch to those weapons until he started wearing the black costume. I think that one might have been designed by Brian Stelfreeze. But let's go ahead and get all those parts out, all these hands, because he's got lots of different hands. And then we'll discuss what, once I pull the figure out, we'll discuss what Nightwing's main weapon was at this time, which was not the Billy Club. And man, the rubber tabs are really tight around this guy. So I think I'm going to do something a little different and try to go on the other side. Maybe I can get him that way. It's just cutting into the package, and it's cutting into the tabs. Oh, I hate these things. Rubber tabs are just simply the worst. There we go. I cut one of the rubber tabs, but it's the double rubber tabs. Because apparently somebody thought that the rubber tabs weren't annoying enough as it is. So they had to make it double. Oh, no. It's annoying. Hasbro doesn't do this. No. Not when they have it in the plastic packaging. Mattel didn't do this. So, no, did Mattel do this? I forget. It's annoying anyway. But yeah, here lately, it seems like whenever I open up a Hasbro one that's actually been in a plastic package, there hasn't been the rubber tabs, and that's been cool. They had the rubber tabs in the so-called plasticless packaging, because apparently they don't care about the environment that much. And there we go. So Nightwing looks like he uses the basic sort of body that they've created recently for the DC Multiverse figures. That kind of generic sort of body that, like, the first time I would have seen it would have been when I opened up Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. And of course, the Riddler also uses that body, and I've got the Riddler right here, so we can actually compare. So the Riddler has new glove pieces and a different belt from what Nightwing has. And other than that, it looks like from the neck down, they're pretty much an identical figure in terms of the molding. So if you've got the Riddler or the Blue Beetle Booster Gold 2-pack, kind of tripped over the word beetle there, but whatever. If you've got either of those, you kind of got the idea as to what this guy is from the neck down. So we have a very vibrant, kind of cobalt blue bodysuit with some yellow detailing over the shoulders, and we can see that's all tampographed on. So it's the shape that would later on become associated with the Nightwing emblem, but at this point it was in yellow, and it still had this kind of texture over it to kind of suggest feathers, like it's a wing. So that would have come from the George Perez costume. They just kind of slightly updated that one to make this one. They got rid of the high collar, and instead he just kind of had a turtleneck, and they kind of simplified it a little bit as far as, like, they took the light blue portions off of the torso entirely. So it was just the dark blue and the yellow, and then he had light blue gloves and boots with the yellow trim around them. So, and I also brought this over here with me. So here's the Superpowers version of Nightwing in this outfit. And you can see that, like, this one's a little more detailed as far as the paint applications go. And this one is in darker colors than the basic. I'm sorry, the not basic, but the Mcfarlane, the Multiverse figure. That's the word I'm looking for. So we're gonna set him aside for now, and we'll look at the hands that he came with. So we can see, what he's got on him is he's got a solid fist and another hand that's holding this little disc. Now before they redesigned him into this costume, which this one should have had billy clubs, his main weapon was these little throwing discs that he would use, which kind of made sense. It was almost like a variation on the Batarang, which of course you would have been very familiar with. Grew up using the Batarang, and that's all the accessories he has is just hands. So we've got this hand, which is kind of a grip with like a trigger finger to it. And then we've got a splayed open hand. And these are all in that light blue. And then we've got another gripping hand, but this one doesn't have, it doesn't have like the trigger fingers pointed out, but it does seem like it's a separate piece. So it's got like a little bit of if you wanted to put a gun into his hand, you could probably heat up the plastic and fit the finger into the trigger. And then one more solid fist. So here's what I'm thinking. is since the Teen Titans Nightwing, he had these closed fist hands, and these do look like they're about the same shade of blue, maybe even actually a little darker than this one. But let me pop this off and see what it looks like. Because I would like for my Nightwing to have hands that can, grip stuff, but that's not going to work because it's the post is too small, so it's too loose. So I'm just going to have to find some other hands to use on the older Nightwing, or well, later in life Nightwing. It's you can see the two figures next to each other. He looks like he's lost some weight. I hope he hasn't been sick lately. I think that even though I like that costume better, I think this is a better Nightwing figure from what I can see of him. So then we got to go. We haven't done this yet because when I pulled it out, just the plastic tray came out without the cardboard piece. So I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet. So there's the trading card and the figure stand, and the trading card is on a separate piece of plastic. It's on its own separate little bubble, which I usually prefer for them to both be. I always prefer them both to be on the same bubble because it makes it a little easier to get out. But I was able to get it out just fine. So we'll go ahead and read the back. And I'm guessing this is probably going to be the same text that we have on other Nightwing figures, but we'll go ahead and read it anyway. Nightwing, Batman Knightfall, real name Richard Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson made a name for himself over the years on more than one occasion throughout his valiant life. Grayson has proven himself to be one of the most resilient and brilliant crime fighters in the world and a natural leader. His charisma is as potent as his combat skills, acrobatic flair, and deductive gifts. Not gifts, gifts. So we're not talking about his animated pictures he puts on the internet. He is a hero's hero who maintains an ineffectuously positive outlook despite facing much tragedy in his life. Well, that actually was different from what I'm used to reading on those Nightwing bios. So it was weirdly worded, though. It was almost like it was like written by AI or something. I don't know. Just Chat GPT, make me a bio for the character of Dick Grayson / Nightwing. That would be what it would come up with. All right, so I'm gonna put this back in there. I'm gonna put that in the recycling later. So, all right, so yeah, it's a really good sculpt. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of Graham Nolan, how he would draw Nightwing. It looks a lot like that. Let me see if I can get it to focus on that face a little bit. So, and he does have the ponytail in the back. I don't know what it is. I've been opening a lot of figures with mullets lately with the two Supermen that I opened up yesterday. And now this guy, he does have a ponytail, but it's short in the front, so it's a mullet. When Tom Drummett was drawing this particular design of Nightwing, when he was doing his Teen Titans run, it was unquestionably a mullet. So like I said, this is the same body that we had for Booster Gold and Blue Beetle and the Riddler, among other figures. I'm pretty sure the Captain Atom figure, which I haven't opened up yet, but I've got a Captain Atom figure I've got waiting to be opened. I'm pretty sure he uses the same body too. But that's fine. Like, I don't really mind if they make like just kind of a basic, simple body to reuse for, several different characters. I mean, the whole of DC Universe Classics was basically that. They'd have like a few different body types they reuse over and over and over again. And they're all like superheroes in like these basic tights. So to me, it just kind of makes sense. You just, I'll just use that body again. That's fine. Like, but let's go over your articulation anyway. So he can look up about that far. He does have that ponytail that kind of hinders it a little bit, but not a whole lot because it's got some pliability to it. He can look down about that far. He's got that kind of cool Mcfarlane torso articulation. We can move the torso any which way. Get him in all kinds of dramatic poses. That's cool. He's got the butterfly joints. Arms move forward about that far. Arms move back about that far. Arms move up about that far. So there we go with that. And of course, they rotate all the way around. He does have a bicep cut, so that rotates all the way around. He does have double jointed elbows. Great range of motion on those elbows. He's got the cool Mcfarlane ball joints at the wrists. So those can move like any which way we want to get them into. We just got to be careful about it. And we can get it in about any pose. I am going to swap out one of these hands with the open hand so that way I can get him into like this cool sort of pose with the throwing disc. So there we go. And like I said, he does have some gripping hands. So if you really want to go ahead and give him some nightsticks, you can if you want. The butterfly joints are solid blue, so it does kind of interrupt the flow of the yellow over the shoulders, but you can experiment with it and try to get it into various poses where it's not quite as glaringly obvious. One of the problems with this type of costume design and the butterfly joints, they don't like to cooperate with each other. So legs move up about that far. Pretty decent range of motion at the legs. It is somewhat hindered. It could go a little further if it didn't have this rubber trunk piece, but you know, whatever. And then double jointed knees. There we go. And he does have not a boot cut, but like this weird sort of. One thing I don't like about this body is it has this mold line for the boots, and it rarely ever matches up with whatever this character's boots actually are. So they might as well just left it off and just had like a plain thigh with absolutely no seam for the like look at it in the back. It's like the black doesn't even quite the black stripe around the edging of it doesn't even quite match up with the blue in some places. Like here I think on the back you can really see it where it's like there's just that little bit of blue lip there. I don't know why they did that. So ankle articulation. His feet can point down about that far, point up about that far. It is on the cool Mcfarlane rocker joint, so you can move that any which way. Nicely designed with that. I do think it's really funny that you would think it would be the opposite of this. You would think the Superpowers version would be the more brightly colored, since it's supposed to be like an old school action figure. But this is the one that's got like this kind of dark blue with this metallic sheen to it and this gold color, and this one's just like kind of a much brighter blue and yellow, so it's kind of funny how that worked out. So I do really like the head sculpt. Like I said, it looks a lot like Graham Nolan's artwork to me. He's got this little smirk to his face, cocky little. All right, so let's go ahead and see him with some other figures. So here he is with the contemporary Robin of that time, Tim Drake, my personal favorite Robin costume. So we can see that they look pretty good together. So he's a little bit taller than Tim, but just a little bit. And then I do think that Tim Drake figure is probably a little too tall, but whatever. It's still a really nice figure. And here he is with his mentor, Batman. And Batman is just a little bit taller than him, just a little bit though. So these two look really good together, and of course these would be the contemporary versions to each other of Batman and Nightwing. This is what Batman looked like in the comic books. It's the Knightfall Batman and the Knightfall Robin and the Knightfall Nightwing. So that's all three of them together, what they look like together. And because I know some of you would like to see it, here's Batgirl. So there he is with Batgirl. Now, Barbara Gordon was not Batgirl at this time. She was still in a wheelchair, and she was still Oracle. But I know how people ship these two, so I'll go ahead and have Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon together for you guys. And we'll get one last shot with this annoying bastard. So you can see, even though they're the same mold, it's, you know, a different paint job, and it does kind of, I think it sets the figures apart. So they're not necessarily like, you know, they don't look like clones of each other. So it works. And then last but not least, we'll have a well, no, we got one more. We got one more after this. So there he is again with the more modern style Nightwing. And like I said, I think this is actually a better figure. Like, I know a lot of people like this costume better, and hell, I like this costume better. But I think they did a better job with this figure. Maybe at some point they can do this mold in these colors, and I think that would be really cool, especially if it came with the extra hands and he actually came with his nightsticks. And now, last and probably least, gotta have Chris O'Donnell as Robin from the movie Batman and Robin, and of course his costume looks more like Nightwing's than it does like Robin's, so we got to get them in there together. So, all right, so that's pretty much it for Nightwing. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, let me know something about this figure. Like, what do you think about Nightwing? What do you think about the character in general? What do you think about this figure? If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff down below. Hit the little bell if you want to be warned anytime I go live, and see one of these whenever I go live. And that'll give you a really annoying push notification on your phone, and it'll be, oh, this is this guy again. So he's probably talking about some action figure again, whatever. So, but that's pretty much it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.